Hello, my lovelies. How are you this fine evening? I am a little late starting stream today. I had some stuff I had to do this morning. Then I took longer than I thought, that I wasn't feeling good, and then I accidentally took a nap. So now that I've had a nap, I've got a cup of tea, and I figured we would continue on with the stream. Anyhow, I had kind of wanted to try an evening stream anyway at some point to see how that would do, if it was a better time or that. So I figured, since that's the way it happened, we would just go with it. Hello, Law. How are you tonight? So today, what I am going to do is something a little bit different. I thought it would be super fun. That we would, if you were a fan of Agatha All Along, they did a tarot spread in this last episode this week. So no spoilers for anybody. I will not be spoiling anything from the show for anybody. And I'm asking that nobody in chat give any spoilers about the show either. We can do this without spoiling anything. But I was so over the moon happy to see that the spread that they featured in the show was something that was actually a usable, plausible, beneficial tarot spread that we could actually use. Now, I'm a fan of the show, really love it, really enjoying it, and then this was just so, such a pleasant surprise in a show, because if you've watched a lot of movies or TV shows that have tarot in it, you, like I know, that they often get it very, very wrong. So I just thoroughly enjoyed seeing this spread in the show. So I thought it would be fun for the live stream to do some readings using the spread from this week's episode of Agatha All Along. Now, I will start off by showing you the spread. I do lay it out differently than they did in the show, matter of personal preference. So I'll show you that and what the positions are, but I'm really excited about it. Now, I do have the rules for free readings today down in the description box. I don't anticipate that we're going to get too packed unless this happens to be a super popular time of day, but I will keep track when I open the readings. I'll keep track of who volunteers that they want a reading, and we'll just go in order, first come, first serve, as time allows. I do not know how long I will be able to stream today, because like I said, I had some stuff to do this morning, then wound up taking an unexpected nap, so we'll just see how I feel, how time goes, and that I'll do as many readings as I can. As always, if this is not the type of reading you're looking for from me, or if you don't get to get a reading during the live, you can always book a reading with me through my Etsy shop. The link is in the description box, and I also offer other services and packages. I have a lot of different educational materials you can purchase. I have a kit that you can use to work through for spiritual soul retrieval. I've got a shadow work kit that you can get. I have a new Lenormand educational printable that you can get that teaches you how to use Lenormand for connecting with ancestors. So there's some really exciting stuff in there. But without any further ado, let us get to the spread from Agatha, because I'm super excited about it. And I keep kicking my table as I try to move in position, because I'm just still, I think, waking up from my nap, because I kind of got up and just kind of got myself together to try to start doing streams. So we are going to be using the Midnight Magic Mushroom deck for this. I just thought it has a nice dark witchy vibe, and YouTube is okay with this. So I figured this would be the deck that we use today, and I just laid out some random cards so you could see what it is that the deck looks like. So let's get into what this spread is, in case you would like to give it a try yourself if you are a reader, and I'm going to show you how I personally lay out the spread. So we start off with the first card in the center of what will be your spread, and this is the Traveler. This is all about the querent and where they are presently. Now, as I said, I like to lay this out in the form of an invoking pentagram, because I am invoking the wisdom of the cards, or spirit, or ancestors, spirit guides, whatever it is you like to connect with when you are doing readings. So then we have the next card I put directly above. That is what is missing. Then we have the path behind, which is wounds suffered and lessons learned. Then we have the path ahead, which is space for growth and discovery. Then obstacles. Then we have the windfall, or you could look at this as like the blessing or boon that potentially could come along for the querent. And then we have the destination. Now you could look at this as an outcome card, but our fates are not fixed. Our futures are not written in stone. So this is like the where you're headed or where you're supposed to be headed. You could read it either way. But again, this is not necessarily predictive. This is the destination, where we're trying to get to, where we're wanting to get to, or where we are currently headed to on our path. So I love it. I think it's a great spread. I've used it for a few readings already between when I watched the episode and now, just because I wanted to try it out and make sure it was viable for reading in general, but for a live stream. And I love it. So that is what we're doing. If you want to do this at home for yourself, those are the positions and how I lay them out. So I'm going to gather these up. How is everyone tonight? Is there anyone present yet? Because I know I just started and this was kind of an unannounced thing. Is there anybody who would like to have a reading using this Agatha spread? If so, just let me know in the chat and let me know what your question is. There are certain topics for legal and YouTube reasons that I do not read on. You will find those in the description box below, just in case you're wondering. But it's the standard, pretty much the standard fare of what readers often will not read on for legal reasons. So I'm just going to shuffle these up. I do have to shuffle. I don't know if anybody else has this deck, but this is some pretty stiff and sturdy cardstock. And I cannot rifle shuffle this deck to save my life. We could do a general reading. You don't have to ask a specific question. We can just leave it up to spirit. What about your path needs to come through and be talked about in the reading if you want. I'm perfectly fine to do that. I have to keep reminding myself to lean forward because I have a tablet here so that if I need to write down names for the queue, I'm ready. And it's kind of like in my way. So I keep forgetting to lean forward. Okay, well, totally, we'll do that. So we'll just ask Spirit to bring through, what about your path? Your journey down the witch's road, as they say in the show. You need to know right now. And for anyone who's new or just wondering, I do not read reversals in tarot. For me personally, if I need a reversed meaning, that will become clear in the reading itself. I don't actually reverse any of my cards. All right, so for the first card, the Traveler, which is you, we have the Three of Swords. So this to me says that right now where you are on your path, there's some sorrow or disappointment or feeling like you don't necessarily have 100% what you want. There's this sense of there's just something missing. It's not quite right. I'm not quite where I want to be on my path. So we'll look at what's missing. And we have the World. So this can be literal, talking about location. You're literally feeling like you are in the wrong place, like you're not where you should be or where you were meant to be in an actual physical geographical location. So if that resonates for you, go ahead and take that. But from a perspective outside of the literal geography, the world can mean that you are looking for the admiration or respect, acknowledgement, validation from others. And while, yes, we always caution about, relying on external validation, we don't want to rely on it solely, but it is something that we do look for as human beings as part of connecting with others. We want to know that others see us in a positive light. We want to know that the work we do is being seen and recognized and valued and appreciated. None of that is bad. That is all perfectly okay. That is perfectly human and natural to want that. So what's missing is that something here that you have done or that you are doing, you don't feel like you're getting the recognition for. You don't feel like you're being seen. You don't feel like it's being valued, appreciated, acknowledged in the way that you would like, or to the degree that you feel would be a proper reflection of what you are putting out. So for the next card, we have the path behind. So these could be the wounds suffered or the lessons learned. And here we have the Four of Wands. This to me, sorry, a sip of tea. Wounds suffered or lessons learned. This to me shows you, because this card is about a grouping of people. Usually a pairing in a traditional Lenormand deck, you'll see a couple. But this doesn't have to be about romantic relationships. It can be, but it does not have to be. But the wound suffered or the lesson learned is someone or a group of someone's not seeing your value, not seeing what you bring to the table, not acknowledging everything that you are putting out, and not reflecting that back to you. So that's the wound suffered or the lesson learned. Now be careful when we use the phrase lesson learned here. We don't want to let that wound then bleed all over our present and future, right? So the lesson learned, when we look at it that way, we learn, or in your case, you specifically learn that those people, those specific individuals, or that specific individual, they did not recognize your value and worth, at least not in a way that they reflected that to you. But that doesn't mean that the world, that everyone at large, does not see your worth and your value and what you are putting out. Hey, Williams. So that doesn't mean everyone. If we're taking this as a lesson, we are learning that lesson about that specific person or those specific people. We're not generalizing to the world as a whole. The wound is the fact that they didn't recognize your worth, that they didn't reflect that back to you, that they didn't validate it, that they didn't appreciate it, that they didn't acknowledge it. The lesson is specific to that person or those people. It's not to be generalized. Now we have the path ahead, which is space for growth and discovery. And here we have the star. Now, the star is what I call the card of hope. It is a promise that things that happened in the past that were struggles and difficult will come to an end, and that there is a brighter future possible in the beginning. Hi, Aisha. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome. So the star is this message of hope. So the room for growth is to make sure that you are keeping hope and positive outlooks on things, that you are limiting that lesson to those people that it applied to, but that you are open for other people to reflect back to you the worth that you do have and the effort that you do put out there into the world, relationships, jobs, whatever it is that you are working on. The next card we have is the obstacles, and here we have justice. Okay, I'm going to sound like the Gen X that I am here, right? Like this is totally going to be my generation. This is going to be a little bit of tough love here, but the obstacle here is that we want the world to be fair, but the world just isn't fair. Okay, the world just isn't fair. Growing up, I cannot tell you how many times I heard the expression, the world never promised you a rose garden. We have to create our own rose gardens. We have to create what it is that we want. Things aren't fair, and we have to figure out how to navigate that. And there are different ways to do that, and there are different outlooks on that. Some of them are better than others when it comes to aiding us in meeting our goals and achieving our desires in life. So don't worry about fair. Don't worry about what should have been fair, what could be fair, what you want to be fair. Put those ideas of fairness aside, because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair, and that's okay. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. But don't get caught up. This is very Libra energy, wanting everything to be fair and balanced. Not everything is always fair and balanced, and that's okay. We have to learn to force the scales to balance in our favor. So that's your obstacle, is not getting or feeling defeated by the unfairness, but rather finding a way to level the playing field for yourself. Now we have the windfall, the potential or possible blessing coming for you. Judgment. There is the potential, if you choose to seize it, for a rebirth for you. So that may mean needing to walk away completely, if you haven't already, from whoever created this wound for you. But there's this chance of rebirth. But that is perfectly okay. Hey there, hey, treasure chest. No, you're not that late. I just started a few minutes ago. Oh, crocheting while you watch? Awesome. I love it. I love it. So for those who don't know, Treasure Chest is a good friend of mine. She does crochet. She is amazing at it. She makes the most amazing creations. So Justice, you're going to work to balance that back out. And in doing that, in working to make things balance out in your favor, you're going to create or can recreate a rebirth for yourself. That energy is there to really do something new. So that absence, that sorrow, that disappointment, you have the ability to turn that around and go from empty to full. That is up to you. That path is an option before you. And then lastly, we have the destination. And for you, we have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is about being patient and persistent. If something isn't fair, don't let it make you stop what you're trying to achieve. Keep going. Be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. Just keep at it. Be patient and persistent. Don't give up. Keep going. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll keep doing the same thing over and over again necessarily, but keep pursuing that goal. Don't give up. Just because that wound exists, don't let that dictate your present and your future. That is something that happened from the past. We learn the lesson from it. We take that lesson with us into our present and future, but we leave the wound itself in the past. And I know that's easier said than done, and I know that that is an oversimplification of the process, but just to convey the idea, that is what we're striving for. That is the ideal. And so be patient and persistent in whatever it is you want. If it is that you want to be in a new geographical location, don't give up on that. Keep going for it. If it's just that you want other people to recognize and reflect back to you the worth that you have, then keep working on that goal. That may mean not that you need to do more, not that you need to try to make yourself somehow worthier, but it may mean that you may need to change the people to the right people who are going to recognize your worth and then reflect that effort and everything back to you. So does that make sense, Law? Does that resonate? Oh, you know what? I just realized this one fan is on. Let me turn this off because you can probably hear it on the mic. There we go. Good. I am glad, Law. I'm glad that resonated. I'm glad that you found it helpful. That's why I thought this spread was so amazing, because not only is it super fun, especially if you're part of the fandom of Agatha All Along, but it really is like a good working spread. I'm super impressed. You are very welcome. Thank you for letting me read for you. So for the others who are here, I'll go ahead and open it up now because we do have a few people. If you would like me to do one of these readings for you, go ahead and say so in chat and put your question. I do have some topics that I don't read on for legal reasons and YouTube reasons. So if you're a little unsure, I have those listed in the description box below. But if you want to go ahead and let me know if you'd like a reading, I'll go ahead and make a little queue and then I will work through those. Williams, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a little bit. I did miss stream last week. Is everybody having a good Saturday? Williams, sure thing. What, do you have a specific question, Williams? I'm doing okay. I'm late streaming today because I kind of had some stuff to do this morning and then I wasn't feeling the greatest and then I accidentally took a nap. So here we are, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We're having fun with this spread. But I can do, the one we just did was just a general read. I can do this absolutely as a general read, but if you have a specific question, we can look at that too. You know what? I think the heater is on. Just hold on just a second. No, apparently I'm just losing my mind. I feel like a warm breeze, but like the heater is not on, which I don't know why it would be. I live in South Louisiana. It's like 80 some degrees out. I need less heat, not more. Williams, you good with me doing a general reading for you? Oh, I think that for this spread, I think that like a general might be more because life purpose is kind of, I don't know. We'll just leave it open. We'll let whatever spirit decides to bring through come through and we'll see how it goes. I haven't done a life purpose with this one yet, but we'll see. We'll see what's what. And I've turned my deck upside down. Okay. So for the Traveler, this represents you. We have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands looks like you are, so I gotcha. Aisha, you are on my queue. You're so close to a goal, to something it is you want. And if this does seem like it feels like life purpose, you're like, the Nine of Wands is like so close. A lot of times when we see the Nine of Wands, we're ready to give up. We're ready to throw in the towel. But if we put in just that little bit more effort, if we stick with it just a little bit longer, we're going to get what we want. We're going to get to our destination. I always talk about, if you've ever talked about success psychology or manifestation, or in a more mundane sense, just about setting and achieving goals in a very clinical aspect even, you will hear people talk, motivational speakers, psychologists, people who do manifestation. We all talk about the fact that most people, when they are trying to do something, the time that they give up is the time that they are so close that if they just would have stuck it out just a little bit longer, they would have reached their goal. And this is very much that card for me. So this card can be a card of so close, but you feel so far away. The next card we have is the What's Missing, and we have the Tower. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay. So there really aren't positive and negative cards in the tarot necessarily. It's all a matter of context and perspective. But I will be honest with you, there are two cards in the tarot that when I draw them, especially for myself, I suck wind. One of them is the Tower, because the Tower often tends to be a very uncomfy card. But sometimes we have to be uncomfortable in order to get where we want, do where we want, or in the case of your life path, to get where you're meant to be, to do what you're meant to do. We have to get uncomfortable before we can get comfortable. In educational psychology, we have something called the zone of proximal learning, right? And so what we are trying to teach a student in that sense is just outside their reach, right? So if you think about it in the sense of monkey bars, they're trying to reach for that first monkey bar and their fingertips are brushing it, but without taking a little bit of a leap or having a little bit of push, it's just outside of their reach, but they can get there. Oh, thanks, Treasure Chest. I loved that episode. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But zone of proximal learning, it's just like your fingertips are grazing it, but you're not quite there. When it comes to achieving things in life, especially spiritual things, we often have to leave our comfort zone. We have to leave what we can easily reach in order to achieve the next thing. So for you, with the what's missing, there are things that need to be torn down, that need to be allowed to crumble away, that need to be rubble that needs to be cleared away in order for you to have space for what needs to come in, right? So we do have a finite amount of energy that we can accept, that we can take in. And until we clear out what isn't serving us, new energies, new experiences, new things cannot come into us, and we cannot necessarily achieve them. So when it comes to your life purpose, there's things that need to be allowed to fall away. That's what's missing for you. Things need to be allowed to fall away for you to progress further on your life path. Hey, Constance, welcome in. All right, so for the third card, we've got the path behind. These are the wounds suffered or the lessons learned. And here we have the death card. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of my favorite death cards. I absolutely love this card. If you can see it in the camera, I think you can, but there's like an actual little skull sort of in the shadows of that one mushroom's cap. Love it. Love it. Okay, so wounds suffered for you. Things have not always necessarily worked out the way you wanted to. You feel like you have lost things along the way. That is the wound suffered, is loss. Change. Things not staying the way you intended, wanted, or expected them to stay. When it comes to learning that as a lesson, the Buddha said, and I always quote the Buddha on this because I think he said it best, all life is transitory. In more layman's or common terms, the only constant in life is change, and that's the lesson here. Everything is cyclical, everything is temporary, everything is fleeting, everything is passing, nothing lasts forever. And that can be a hard lesson to learn, but I can tell you also as a death witch, that can be a beautiful lesson to learn. Learning to accept that the only constant is change and allowing that change to flow. So that is the wound suffered and the lesson learned for you. For the path ahead, where there is space for growth and discovery, we have the Ace of Swords. Very interesting. For you, I feel like this is all about communication and making definitive declarations, saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is the action I'm going to take. This is the course that I'm going to take. The allowing certain things to fall away, to say, I release this. Sorry, getting some of my tea. To say, I release this. Then we have your obstacles. The Empress, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, putting yourself as a priority. Sorry, I had to move the table to turn the air conditioner on me because I'm having a hot flash. Woo! Anyhow, so nurturing yourself, self-care, putting yourself first, realizing that you matter and that you need to fill your cup and take care of yourself before you can do anything else, before you can be anything to anyone else. You need to set yourself as a priority. You need to set and maintain healthy boundaries. I really see that with the Ace of Swords, the Tower there, you know, letting things fall away that don't, anybody who's crossed boundaries or any boundary crossing behavior, we need to let that go. Declare that you will no longer allow it, and then take care of yourself by enforcing those boundaries. Now we have the potential windfall. Hi, Jacqueline, welcome in. I will open the queue again in a couple minutes, Jacqueline. I have a couple people already that I'm reading for. When I open the queue again, I will make sure to put you on the list, because I do not know how long I'm going to stream today, and I don't know how many people I'm going to get to. So, all right, potential windfall, the Four of Pentacles. This for me, a lot of people, no worries, Jacqueline. A lot of people see this as a card of selfishness, right? And self-care can be seen as selfish. It's not. We need to get over that type of thinking, especially female presenting people or people who are female. There really is a big push that we need to give before we take care of ourselves, at least in, American culture. So for you, the blessing, the windfall, is all of the reserves and the store of energy and everything that comes with that, from setting boundaries, holding to those boundaries and caring for yourself, declaring what it is you want, what you're going to do to get it, and then going for it and letting that doesn't serve you fall away. And then lastly, we have the destination and we have the moon. So the moon is all about, I don't know if you do intuitive work, right? So this is the destination. We kind of left this open to maybe some life path stuff. This can mean that life path, you are intended to do something that heavily involves intuition or psychic abilities. That could be one possibility. Or this could be all for you, all about emotions, connecting to your emotions, finding ways of living an emotion-centered life, and that is in a positive, healthy, rewarding way. So take it as it resonates. It could very well be a little bit of both. But the destination is that. So take all of this together, especially in, for the intuitive business, the psychic business, set boundaries. Because I can tell you, as a reader, we absolutely 100% have to set boundaries and stick to them. We also need clearly defined goals and action plans for how we get to them, because we tend to be very empathetic. We tend to be heavily influenced by other people's emotions and what's going on with them. We tend to be caretakers that put other people before ourselves, and all of that can derail us from our path. So does that resonate for you, Williams? Does that answer what you were kind of wanting to know? Did we hit on the life path? Or are we just doing general? How are you feeling about that? We will give Williams a second to answer. I'm going to gather these up. I'm going to rest my voice for a second. Awesome sauce. I am so glad that resonates and that makes sense. I don't know about anybody else who reads. This is just a little aside before I get to the next reading. You are very welcome. Thank you for letting me read for you, Williams. Just as a little aside, tarot and all the different kinds of readings I do, they never cease to amaze me. For the longest time as a reader, especially before I went pro, but even for a while, and sometimes even today, and I've been reading, for those who don't know, I've been reading tarot since 1995. I had to really learn to just trust and go with whatever came in as I was doing the reading. I don't know the querent's life. So to me, it's all sort of nonsense. I'm just weaving the story together as it comes to me. It doesn't have context or make sense to me because it's not my lived experience. And there's always this sort of awe that I have at how I'm weaving the story together out of what I get from the cards and my gifts. And then it speaks directly to what the person is experiencing, what their lived experience is. And even all these years later, it never ceases to create this sense of awe in me. I don't know if anybody else in here, if you are readers yourselves, if you've ever experienced that, but for me, never ceases to amaze me. Okay, so next up we have, and am I saying it correctly? Is it Aisha? Because I'll just be blatantly honest with you. I am dog crap with names. And I fully acknowledge that, and I hate that that's how I am, so please correct me if I butcher your name. I will do my level best. But we are going to do a love reading for you, my dear. Alright. So, for you, for the Traveler card that represents you, we have the Page of Pentacles. This shows you, in regards to your love life, you are in a place where you are reflecting on the past, and you are definitely wanting something new, something different. You are not wanting to get into the same type of relationship over again. You're not wanting to do what you've done before. You're not wanting what has happened before for you in relationships to continue to happen. You want to break the cycles. You want to break the patterns. You want to break the behaviors of the past when it comes to your love life. That's where you are presently on your path. So now we have what's missing. And here we have the Nine of Swords. A sense of security. A sense of feeling like this is all going to be okay, like it's all going to work out. There's this sense of doubt. Will you find your person? Will you have the relationship you want? So what's missing is this sense of knowing, the sense of security that you can and will have the type of relationship that you are looking for and that you desire. So now we look at the path behind, which is the wounds suffered and the lessons learned. And here we have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, right? Passion can be a great thing, but sometimes we get burned by the flame. And so the lesson learned is that you have had these intense feelings for people, or other people have had intense feelings for you, and that has gone awry. That has not ended in a positive way. Like, in society, we have this concept of we want this fiery, romantic, intense, passionate relationship. It's what movies and novels and plays sell to us. But with unbridled passion that doesn't have any other things to support it, that doesn't have other things to temper the flames and the heat, it burns out of control, and then we are left with a whole hot mess, no pun intended, right? But the lesson to learn here is that a scorched field can be the most fertile, right? After a forest fire has decimated a land, if you watch it over time, it comes back more fertile and stronger and healthier and more abundant in the long run. Same thing with, volcanoes are devastating, right? But after the lava has cooled and everything, those become very fertile grounds as well. So from the fire, we can get extremely fertile ground to build something on. So that's the lesson. The wound is being burned, but the lesson is that from that, we can go on to create abundant and healthy love lives and relationships after we have gone through that and begun to heal. The path ahead, which shows room for growth and discovery, we have the Ace of Wands. Now, this is a suggestion from Spirit to think about how you think and feel about sexual relationships. The Ace of Wands, especially if you look at it in a traditional tarot deck is very phallic. It's very much about sex and creation and fertility. Aces are the essence of the suit. So there's a lot of sexual energy in this card. So when it comes for room for growth and discovery, it's not that you necessarily have quote unquote negative or bad beliefs or thoughts or opinions about sex and sexual relationships, but there's room for discovery and growth there. There's room for self-discovery. What do you like? What don't you like? What did you think that you liked that it turns out you really don't like? What did you never consider trying that maybe you really would like? Or maybe you'd at least like to try it to find out if you like it or not. When it comes to partners and sexual relationships, what are hard passes for you? What are green flags for you? What were, beige flags that you now either consider green or red flags for you? But the room for discovery and growth here lies within where are your boundaries? Where are your limits? What are your beliefs, desires, wants, and expectations when it comes to sexual relationships? All right, so then we have the obstacles, and the obstacle cards for you. Ooh, we have death again. Woo! I love this card, and I love that it just keeps coming out because, again, no spoilers about the show, okay? But they do talk about death in the show. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I love that the death card keeps coming out for us, and I'm a death witch doing this. I'm loving the theme that the universe has going on for us here. Okay, I'm just going to say that. But for you, the obstacle is change is hard. I'm just going to say it. Hopefully you'll understand. I'm a swear bear. I try to tone it down in my streams, but change is a bitch. Okay, she a bitch. She's hard. Some of us, like us fixed signs like myself, have a really hard time with it. Okay, because Jane, we like our steady. And again, what's missing for you is that stability and that stableness. So the obstacle for you is that there does need to be changes that need to happen in order for you to get the type of relationship you want to get and maintain the type of relationship you're wanting for and is in alignment with your highest good. You have to be willing to make those changes, go with those changes, flow with those changes. And it does mean that you're going to have to let go of some things that you probably don't think you want to and may even genuinely not want to at the moment. But ultimately, if you let go and you flow into this, you're going to get what you do want, and what you will get will be better than what you anticipated by letting go of what you thought you couldn't let go of. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, then we are just really having a theme here, but the windfall for you is the moon. For you, the moon is about dreams. The windfall, the blessing, what Spirit's saying to you is if you let go, if you do this self-reflection and really think about all of those aspects we talk about when it comes to you and sex and sexuality, if you do all of that, your dream relationship can come to you. That can be the windfall. That can be the blessing here for you, is a dream relationship that maybe, if we're being honest, you might not think is possible, or you might have some questions or some doubts if you even deserve that, because let's just, be for real here. We all have our doubts from time to time, but that dream relationship can come to you. And then the destination, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, what can be more domestic and more in a relationship than the Queen of Pentacles? I mean, she is the epitome of domesticity. She is one of the epitomes in tarot of the ideal divine counterpart. She's all about home and relationships and making everybody comfy, cozy, and having this loving relationship where she loves to take care of others, and in turn they take care and sustain and nurture her as well. So your potential destination here, if you choose to follow this witch's road, is you being in that Queen of Pentacles position, you being that, and it doesn't matter, gender is completely irrelevant here, but I'm just going to use the term as you being in that position of wifiness, right? Whether or not you legally marry, whether or not you identify as wifey or not, we're not talking about gender roles or anything like that. We're just talking about that energy of, I am this type of partner who is stable and secure and loving, and that is reciprocated to me in my dream relationship. So, okay, Aisha, let me know. Is that good? Does that resonate? How are you feeling about that? All right. So after Aisha answers that, Jacqueline is next. You asked for a love reading. I know I saw Constance come in. Constance, if you are still here, would you like for me to read for you after Jacqueline? And if so, do you have a specific question? Hi, Em. How are you this evening? Welcome in. We are having fun this week with the spread from the show Agatha All Along from this week's episode. No spoilers. This is a no spoiler stream. Sure, I can put you in the queue, Em. Do you have a specific question? Welcome in. We're happy to have you, Em. Usually I do very themed readings, but this week, because we're doing the Agatha one, I can do this as a general read, but I am, we can ask a question of this particular spread. So let me know if you want me to put a certain question down for you, so that after I read for Jacqueline, I can do yours. I'm going to shuffle these real good before I do Jacqueline's, just because I do feel like those were the right cards for this last one, but I don't want us to be drawing the Death card and the Moon card in every reading, as amusing as that would be to me. I did say I don't particularly like to shuffle this deck. It's a little hard for me with my arthritis, but I want to get this good. Okay, so with this spread, we're not going to get a yes/no like that, but we can look into your path with Tobias. We can word it like that, and we can go from there. Just so that you have, I like to manage expectations. I like the people know what they're getting. So we'll word it like that, and we'll see what the path looks like for you. All right, but we're going to do Jacqueline. We're just looking at love in general, what her journey, what her path down the witch's road right now is when it comes to love. All right, let me give you this a little overhand, and then we'll draw for Jacqueline. I'm going to write you in my queue here in just a second. Woo. Knight of Wands fell out of the deck. If any of that, that speaks to anybody. I don't read jumpers because, again, as I just mentioned, I have arthritis, so I'd be reading all the cards all the time if I read jumpers. All right, I feel like we're good for Jacqueline there. We're going to write down M. All right, so that I have M in my queue. All right, so Jacqueline's love life. Let's get all nosy about Jacqueline's path, and see what she's got going on. Because let's be for real, tarot readers are nosy peeps, whether we want to admit it or not. I know I said it was good, and then when I picked it up, I just automatically started shuffling again. So obviously Spirit was like, nah, we're doing this again. All right, here we go. This feels good. All right, so for the Traveler, for Jacqueline, we have the Six of Cups. Treasure Chest says, just make 52 card pickup into a spread, and then you're set. You know what I do? Believe it or not, I have a spread that I have done that uses all 78 of the cards in the tarot deck. It is laborious. It takes forever. I don't even, the size of table you need. Right, anyhow, I digress. 78 pickup. While it sounds like a fun idea, I've tried that, and that is a reading that we would be here into next week. All right, so Six of Cups for Jacqueline. We're talking about love. So where you are on your path, Jacqueline, you're looking at the past, honey. You're looking behind you, and not being present in the moment, not really having your eyes on the future. Now, we know in spirituality what we say is, yes, we plan for the future, but we need to be mindful of the present. We need to be in the present. What's the quote? Stop looking back. That's not where you're going. That's not where you are. That's the energy here. You are looking at the past. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Like, we can ruminate a little, we can be reflective, and we can learn lessons in that way. We can look for patterns and decide things that we want to change, things that we want to keep, things like that. So it's not all bad, but there's this sense of being stuck in the past. So in the past, which is having you stuck on your path. So what's missing? This card, again, is about reflection and desire for something new, but we already know that you're being reflective. So this card isn't you missing the point of reflection or missing the act of reflection. But you don't have a clear plan at the moment of one. Like, you have, I almost said something, and I don't want to say that on stream because that'll just open a whole can of worms, right? You have ideas for plans, things that you maybe might want to do, kind of, sort of. Do I want that? Oh, I want this. Maybe I don't want that. Can I have this? Can't I have that? There's not, in order to move forward, in order to manifest something, we have to make a decision. So it is almost Halloween. This is very appropriate. One of my all-time favorite movie quotes comes from Halloween Town. And that quote is from Aggie Cromwell, the grandmother, and she says, "Magic is really very simple. All you have to do is decide what you want and then let yourself have it." And that's sort of the energy going on with you here. Until you firmly decide where you are going, you're going to stay looking at the past. That past can inform you. It can be a valuable tool in moving forward, but you can't stay there in order to move forward. So there's this, what's missing is a decisiveness, a plan for moving forward, where you're going, what you want, goal setting, action planning, those kinds of things. All right, so next we have the path behind, which is the wounds suffered and the lessons learned. We've got the star. When it comes to love, someone, or maybe it was a series of someones, made you feel hopeless, made you feel like maybe the relationship you want isn't possible, or maybe they've made you feel like you don't deserve it, or you're not worthy, or it just can't happen for you. But the lesson here is, okay, like, look at me, let me hold your hand while I say this to you, okay? You deserve the relationship you want. You deserve to be loved and taken care of and respected, and to have all the things that you deem go along with a healthy relationship, okay? You deserve all that. So that's the lesson to learn here, is that you deserve all that, and you absolutely can have that. That can be yours. So that's the wound, that loss of hope, that maybe it'll never happen, maybe I don't deserve it. All of that, that's the wound. The lesson is that you absolutely can have the relationship you want. All right, so now we move to the path ahead, which is the room for growth or discovery. Here we have the Justice card. Okay, so justice is not always about a sense of fair play or balance. Sometimes justice is about a higher level of commitment. So for you, the room for growth is really getting clear, because remember, we've got this ambiguity. We don't know where we're going. We haven't decided. We haven't declared. We haven't decided what we want before we can even allow ourselves to have it. So for you, the room for growth is the really getting clear on what a healthy, long-term, committed relationship that is in alignment with your highest good looks like for you as an individual, right? Because listen, we can all, everybody's psychiatrists and relationship coaches, everybody has their opinions, right? But at the end of the day, it's you and your relationship and what you want and what does or doesn't work for you as an individual person. So you need to really decide, get clear, write it down. What does your ideal relationship look like? What does a committed relationship mean to you? What does a committed relationship mean to the person that would be your ideal partner? Get clear on all of that. That's where the room for growth is, because to get out of looking at the past and to fill what's missing, we need to have a clear, definitive goal. And so that's getting clear on what a higher level of commitment means to you as an individual. What will satisfy you? What will make you happy? What resonates with your soul? The obstacles here, we have the Four of Wands. So this looks like it could be a little bit of fear of things that are new, fear of new relationships. You might identify, and this is a might, it doesn't have to resonate, but take it if it does. You might identify as someone who is demisexual, meaning that before you can get into that committed, intimate relationship, you really need to form an intense emotional connection and bond with the person first. So that could be a possibility. You could have a slow to warm personality, or maybe just because of the wound, you want to take it slow going forward. Okay, any of that is possible. And you don't have to let that be an obstacle, right? Like moving slow or needing certain things to fall into place before you get into that relationship you want, that's all okay. It doesn't have to be an obstacle, and that could be part of the getting clear on what a committed relationship looks like for you, because the path to that could be part of what you need to work out. What do you need before you can declare a relationship to be on a higher level of commitment? Hi, Black Widow. Welcome in. Hello, hello. So that could be your obstacle. So then we have your windfall, your potential blessing. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. The tried and true. Patience will be rewarded. Patience is a virtue. Patience will be rewarded. So, so often we get frustrated with ourselves and everything. This is a reminder to be patient with yourself. You don't have to go through this whole process overnight. You don't have to figure it all out overnight. Just keep working to make progress. Slow and steady wins the race. It's fine. Just take those steps, right? Because like the expression goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, right? So if you can't work out the whole big picture right now, that's fine. Just work out the starting steps. Write down the pieces of the puzzle that you know already. You don't have to have it all, like you don't need to sit down after the stream, write it down and have it all written out and figured out. That's okay. Be patient with yourself and persist on your path, and that's what's going to get you what you want. And then for your destination, we have the Magician. Whether you realize it or not, you are a powerful creative force in your life. You absolutely can create a life and step into a version of yourself that is in the type of romantic, loving, healthy relationship that you want. You have the power to do that. Step into your personal power. You absolutely can create the relationship you want. I have to pause for a second, but let me know if that resonates with you. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My throat's giving out. Let me know if you're still here. If you are, I will read for you. But you're probably going to be my last reading of the night because the voice is starting to get a little rough. Hey there, Dupree. Welcome back. Hi again, Ari. Thank you for the sub. Welcome in. I'm probably going to be wrapping up here in a minute. I'm just trying to see if M is still here. Yeah, I only do short streams because of my voice. So anybody who, if I didn't get to them today, they can always book one with me. Yes, M, you're still here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and read for M, and then M is going to be my last one for this live stream. I do try to stream every Saturday, and you can always, if you need something sooner, you can always book a reading with me through my Etsy shop. So we're looking at M's path with Tobias. So with the High Priestess coming out for the Traveler card for you, you are either older than Tobias or you are farther along in life somehow, some way. So if you are not chronologically older than him, you are still in some significant way, quote unquote, older than him. Older, wiser. So yeah, if he's older, then this could be a maturity thing or a spiritual path wise. Hey, Miss Ruby, welcome in. Hello, hello. But in some way, shape, or form, you are, quote unquote, above him. So, I turned my deck around again. Gosh darn it. So, for what's missing, we have the Knight of Swords. Things seem to be moving very slowly. The Knight of Swords is usually a very quick moving sword. Things are very slow. I would say there's almost, this word's a little too harsh, but there's almost a sense of cowardice that is going on here. There's this lack of courage on the part of one of you. It could be you or him, but what is missing from this is this sense of someone lacks the courage to move forward, step forward, to make a move, to have this progress from where it is. All right, so then we have the path behind. Let me get this up here. So this is the wound suffered or the lesson learned, or a little bit of both. But we've got the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, okay, so you've already said that, like, there's that somebody's not moving this forward. Thank you, Black Widow. With the Page of Wands is all about someone who has all this potential. They could have a whole lot of romantic or passionate emotions about the other person, but they don't know what to do with it. So the wound here is that there are feelings, but the feelings aren't going anywhere. Nothing is being created out of the feelings. So that's the wound here, because feelings get hurt, both on the part of the person who is not having the relationship progress the way that they want to, and thinks that it's because the other person maybe doesn't want to progress. But the person who has these feelings but isn't acting on them, doesn't know what to do with them, and is in a sense the block for the relationship in a large part of the way, they are also wounded by this energy as well, because they have feelings, they wonder where this could go, but they're not taking the steps to move it forward either. So it is wounding to the self as well. The lesson to learn here is that things may not work out the way you want them to. The other person may not reciprocate the feelings. But if you don't take the leap, if you don't risk, as my British friends would say, if you don't risk it for the biscuit, you're never going to get the biscuit, right? Like, a lot of people would say, and it's up to you whether or not you share the sentiment, that it's better to just rip the Band-Aid off, figure it out, admit to the feelings, see what happens, and then go from there. You know, let the chips fall where they may, and then deal with it. Now, sometimes that isn't the wisest decision, but in this particular case, it seems like what Spirit is hinting at is that somebody needs to just step forward and get this going to sort it out one way or the other. The path ahead, where there's where there is room for discovery and personal growth, right? We have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands for me is one of, if not the fastest moving card in the tarot. So for me, where there's room for personal growth and discovery, it's in just moving, just doing it. This card can warn of hasty decisions. You feel like he does have feelings and is attracted. Yeah, he very well may, but he's not acting on them. And again, where there's room for personal discovery, you know what I mean? The whole idea of this personal growth is just doing it. I call this the Nike card. Just do it, right? So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, and only you know, because again, I don't know your lived experience. So if it is safe for you to just be like, yo, Tobias, I have feelings for you. How are you feeling about it? You know, can't tell you one way or the other, at least with these cards so far, how it'll work out. But Spirit seems to be indicating that, like, this is an idea, a situation that needs to be resolved one way or the other, and somebody is going to have to be the one to make the move. Somebody is going to have to do that. Trevor, the rules for free readings are down in the description box, but M is going to be my last free reading here for the night. So just so you know, for future reference, I do usually stream on Saturdays, but welcome in. All right, so this room for growth and discovery is movement, and we're talking about your path. So right or wrong, you're probably going to have to be the one to do the moving here, if you want to see how this resolves. Hi, Crow's Nest. Welcome in. I am doing my last reading for tonight here because my voice is giving out, but I do read, I usually do live streams on Saturdays, and I also have an Etsy shop if you need a reading in the meantime. You can book through my Etsy shop, where the link is in the description box below. All right. Okay, so we're on obstacles now. Obstacles, fear of emotions, fear of what he may be feeling. You're uncertain as to his feelings, and so that kind of keeps you from necessarily acting and being the one to act. You may also feel like he should be the one to act. He should be the one to make the first move. He should be the one to come forward. So that's your obstacle. For the windfall, the potential blessing, we have the Chariot. Now, I know that with this card, the art on this card, it can be a little hard to see because we just have some mushrooms here, right? But in a traditional tarot deck, you've got the two sphinxes or two horses that are of different colors trying to go in different directions, but they are pulling a singular chariot. And the idea behind that is the querent, or the person in question, bringing two opposing energies or seemingly disconjointed energies together to work towards a common goal. So the potential windfall here is that if you make the move, if you're the one who says, okay, he's being too still, I'm going to make the move, and you make it, then the windfall here, the blessing is that the two of you will be on the same page. One way or another, you'll be on the same page. So that's the windfall. One way or another, you'll know. It will be resolved. You won't be in this state of, does he, doesn't he, will we, won't we? You'll have your answer, and you'll know you'll both be on the same page moving forward. And the destination is the Emperor. We could take this two ways, right? We could take this as he is your divine counterpart and he will be your emperor. We could take it in that context. Absolutely possible. Or this could mean that no matter what happens, you will step into your emperor energy. You will be a more confident person. You will be a better leader of your own life. You will have more confidence in decision making in the future. So no matter which way things work out with Tobias, things work out for you because the two of you will be on the same page, whether that is a romantic relationship or isn't a romantic relationship, and you have the potential to gain more confidence and commandment over your life going forward when it comes to relationships and love. So, Em, let me know. What are you thinking? How are you feeling about that? Crow's Nest, welcome in. I think I may have already said hi to you. Trevor, it's with you. Hi, Anna. Oh, I love Agatha All Along. Yes, I love that show so much. Welcome in, Anna. I'm about to wrap up because my voice is just not wanting to hold out for much longer whatsoever. So welcome in. I'm so glad to have you. I do usually stream on Saturdays, so make sure that you come back again, and maybe next time I will have the privilege of reading for you if you'd like. Yes, thank you, Em, for allowing me to read for you. I'm so glad you appreciate it. Good luck with Tobias. Honestly, with these cards, I really feel like no matter what, it's going to be a good thing for you. So, you know, all the best of luck for you. Be sure to stop back around in a future stream. Let me know how things turn out. Crow's Nest, yes, welcome in. I feel so bad, like, when people are coming in and, like, my mind and my heart wants to keep reading, but you guys can hear me clear in my throat. My voice is not going to hold out any longer, and I'm out of my tea. I have downed it. I am almost out of my water. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. But it has been a blast, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Thank you to those who I did have the privilege of reading for tonight. It was a blast. I hope that your readings are helpful to you, that they help you achieve all that you want to achieve. I truly enjoy the privilege of getting to read for y'all tonight. Agatha All Along, love the show. Love that they actually put a workable spread into the show. I thought that was just something so fun for us to do for stream today. But my voice is done for. So with that said, I will hopefully see all of you next Saturday. Until then, blessings to you wherever your journey finds you.